Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Zero Analyst. This is the video one of my SQL project series. I have received multiple requests from many of you asking about SQL project series. So I've taken this challenge of creating 10 SQL project video, which is going to be from basics to advanced level. And I'm also going to share you the project dataset and the resources for this series. Now let's see the today's project. So today we'll be working retails sales dataset. Now you can see you will be publishing project like this. So we'll be mentioning the project objective, project overview, and the step that you have performed, and all these steps you will mention same way you will publish this project. So let's say step by step what you'll be doing and how you'll be publishing your project like this. First, we'll need to download the dataset from this repository. So I'm going to include this link in the video descriptions. Now let's say step by step how you can do this project and download this dataset. So I'm going to include this link in the video descriptions. Now let me show you what the task you will do. So you can see first task, we will set up the database, we will create the table, we will import the data, and then we will do the data cleaning, and then we will do data explorations, which is EDA, and then we will solve some specific business problem using SQL. And at then you will publish your project like this. We will mention step by step, we will document the task whatever we have performed. So first let's see, we will set up the database like you can see it here, and then we will do the data explorations and identify the missing values, and we will clean the data, and then we will do data analysis and report our findings. And in third step you will do the analysis and you will solve some key business problems, which you can see it here, and you're going to include your code like this, and you're going to include your code like this. So all this problem we will solve, and we will submit our findings, you can see it here, and we will submit the reports. Now let's see how you can download this resources and the data set. So I'm going to include this link in the video description. So just click this code and you just need to click on this icon which is called copy. So you just need to click this URL. Now I'm going to include this URL also in the video descriptions. And then after that you just need to go to Windows terminal or Mac terminal. So in Windows it is command, so you just need to go to Windows command, and you can type something called pwd, which is going to show you the present working directory. So for me it's my users, so for you it may be the C drive and your users. Now you can change it to desktop or any folder that you want. So I'm going to write something called CD, which is for changing directory, and I'm going to write something called like this. So this is going to change my directory to desktop. I can verify it pwd. If I just write pwd, so that is going to change my directory to desktop. Even if you do not change it, so you just need to make sure that you know where your file are going to be downloaded. The reason why, because the file is going to be downloaded in that folder. So what you just need to write something called git clone, and once you write git clone, you just need to paste it, the URL. Okay, now you see, once you enter the URL, just press enter. As soon as you press enter, this file is going to be downloaded. So for me it was desktop, you can see it here, user, Nazir, and desktop. So my file has been downloaded, so I can verify it. Let's close it, and now I can see this file has been downloaded in my desktop. So we have one readme and we have this, which is the dataset. So let's open the dataset using Excel. So I'm going to open the dataset using Excel, and let's see the data. So now you can see we have the data. Let me just make it bigger, which is maybe 200. So we have this retail data set. Now we have transactions ID. So let me just make it fit. So transactions ID, we have sale date. This is the second column. We have sale time. We have customer ID, gender, age, category, quantity, price per unit, COGS, which is the purchasing cost, and the total sales. So you can go through some rows, and the reason we are checking this data, because we will need this column name. Okay. So I'm going to take this column name because I will need this column name. So let's go to pgadmin, and we will create a database first. So let's go to pgadmin, and I will just go ahead and close each and everything. Okay. So I'm going to create a database. Now if you do not know how to create database, you can go through my earlier video where I have shown how to create database, how to create tables. So let's just click here. You may have something like this server. So just click on this extend, and once you click on this extend, you can click on this database, right click on it, and you can click on database. That is one way. So I can click on database, and I can just write something called database name. So I'm going to name it called SQL project P1. So this is the name I want to give. Now you can give any name. So let's go ahead and say save. So I just need to click on save. I don't have to select anything else. So this is one way. Now the second way is that you just need to click on your database. Now you can select any database, and now click on this query tool, and once you click on this query tool, you just need to write something called create database. Now I can give your database name. Now I can give like SQL project P2 or P3, any name you can give. Okay, if you just run this query, it's going to create the database. Now you can see it is created. We can verify it is SQL project P1, where inside SQL project P1, but we can verify it. We can just right click here, and if you see right click here, you will see the database, right? So this is the database we have created right now. So I can use any of them. I'm going to use this one, which is called SQL project P1. If you're not getting like which tool I'm using, so I'm using which is called pgadmin 4 and Postgres SQL. Now if you want to know how to download this pgadmin 4 and how to download Postgres SQL, you can check the video which I will be including in the video descriptions, how to download and set up the Postgres SQL and pgadmin 4. So once you set up, you will be able to create the database, and you will be able to create the table. So we have created the database. Now let's just give a name. I'm going to name it called SQL Retail Sales Analysis. So this is the project name, and I will just name it called project 1. Now you can change the name according to you. Now I'm creating a database. You can see I've created the database. Okay, so I'm just going to go to next, and if in case I want to connect to this database, I can just click on this icon and I can change my connections to this database, which is going to be SQL project 2. Let's see this one, right? I can click on save. So this, you can see now this database connection has changed to this one, which is called SQL project 2. Now here, let's first create the table. Now to create the table, we will need all the columns name, right, and the data types. Now if you see here, we have all the columns name starting from transactions ID, sale date, sale time, customer ID, all this column name I need. So I'm going to just copy from here to here. Okay, and let's create the table. So I'm going to say create table. Now this is just a comment. So I'm going to say create table. Now what are the columns I need? I can put the columns inside these brackets. So let's go ahead and just put it here. Okay, let's put it here, and just organize the column name, so it's going to be easy for debugging if you do any mistake or typo. So let's organize all the columns name. So I usually follow this pattern because this is easy for debugging. So I'm going to say category, quantity, price per unit, total sale. So here I need to give the table name. So I'm going to say retail sales. Okay, TB. Now I can give any name. So I'm just going to give it retail sales for now. I'm going to move it to one indentations to the right. Okay, and let me move it here. So now I just need to give each column and their data types, right? So while creating table, you need to give the data types. So this one is transactions ID. Let's see the data types. So we have the data types, which is int, because we have the whole number. You can see it here. So I'm going to say int here. That's the first column, and the second column is sale date. So that is obviously going to be date. Okay, so I'm going to say here date. Okay, now next what we need is the sale time. So that is going to be time formats. Just make sure that this time is in this format, which is called hour, minute and second, and then this and date has to be this format, which is called year, then month and days. So for us it is not in proper format. Now this date has to be year, month and days format. Now here you cannot see it, but it has the same format, which is year, month and day. Even if you want to change it, you can go to general and go to this which is called this custom more formatting. Just click on date and just change it to this one, which is called year, month and days. Okay, now once you click on it, now we have the date in the correct shape. So even if you don't change it, because the data, if you don't save it, okay, the data that I have included, that has the date in this format only, but as soon as you open it, the Excel automatically convert it to Indian standard, which is kind of a date, then month and year. So we have this, which is called sale date and the time. So for this one I have given sale date, and the time, the data type is going to be time. So date is going to be comma. I need to add comma for distinguishing each columns, right? This is my first column, int, the second column, which is sale date, and the third column is going to be time. So again comma. Then fourth column is going to be customers ID. So let's see, customer ID also going to be int. So I'm going to define it as int. Now for gender, this is going to be text. So I'm going to define it as varchar. Varchar maybe 10, okay, or 15. Now age is going to be also integer. So we'll say integer, and we'll say category. So category is going to be varchar. Now one thing you need to know, that this length is very important. So we need to define the length. You can just double click on it to see what is the length. Now if you want to check it, you can just write something called max and inside the bracket write len in Excel, and you can just click on it and scroll to the down, close the parenthesis. This is the maximum length which is showing 11, so we can define it as a varchar 25 or maybe 15. Okay, so make sure that this length is defined under the range, otherwise you will be getting range error when you will import the data. So next we have quantity, so quantity is going to be int. Then we have price per unit, so price per unit is going to be float, and also I want cogs as a float, I want total sale as a float. So because all these are price, so there is a possibility some data has a decimal number, some data has normal integer numbers, so let's make it float. Okay, so make sure that delete if you have any columns. I'm just going to delete it, just make sure that this doesn't create any issue. Now this table is created, so I want to set this transactions ID as a primary key, so I would say primary key. This will ensure that it doesn't import any duplicates value. Okay, so if I run it, it's going to create a table. So I may have already table by this name which is called retail sales, so I'm just going to write something called drop table if exist. Now let's go ahead and run this query. It's going to create a table. Now the table is going to be inside this database which is called SQL Project 2. Let's see. So you see we already had a table, now that is going to be deleted and it has created new table. Okay, so it's showing successful. Now if you have missed any comma, or if you have not given any data types, then you may get error message. So let's go ahead and see in the SQL Project 2. Okay, so I will go ahead and in this SQL Project 2 and go to this schemas, go to this public and go to this table, and I will have my table. So you can see my table is here. If you don't see it, you can just refresh it and you will see your table. Okay, so I'm inside this project 2, so and I have the table which is called retail sales. Now let's see if we have any data in the table. So first I can go ahead and say select star from retail sales. This is my table name, and this is going to show me the table, right, all the data. Now you can see I don't have any data because I have not imported the data at the moment, correct? So let's go ahead and import the data. Now to import the data, you just need to go to this table name, make sure to refresh it. Okay, make sure you are on the right database, which is SQL Project 2, and we will go to right database, which is, you can see it here. So we will go to SQL Project 2. Now inside this we will have the public. From the public we will have this table. You can just refresh on it, you will have the table name. So this refresh is very important, otherwise we may get error. So you just need to right click on it, and then you will see something called import and export data. So click on this import and export data. Now very important step here, you need to make sure this option that you see here, option, this header has to be enabled, because our data has a header. Now if you just want to verify it, you can go to Excel, you see our data has a header. So this header must be enabled. For Windows you may have this header as disabled first. So first go to options, make sure this header is enabled and you don't have to touch anything else. So go to general, and from here you just need to select the path, or you can just click this folder icon and select your data. So I will go to desktop, and this is the data I have downloaded. So this is the data set. So I'm just going to click on open, then you just need to click on OK. Make sure that this header is enabled, otherwise you will get error. Okay, and I'll say OK. Once you click on OK, the data is going to be imported. Now you have noticed that I have not saved the file, though I have made some changes in Excel file, but I have not saved the file because I already had the data in proper shape. If you go to my folder where I have downloaded the data set, you can open this data in Notepad or text editor for Mac, and Notepad for Windows, and this is going to show you the shape of the data. Now if you see this data, what is important here is that you need to make sure this date has the proper format, which is year, month and days, and this time has proper format, which is hour, minute and second. Okay, now rest everything remains same. So this is what important, we need to check this. Now once these things are correct, you will be able to import the data. So you will get two notifications, one is called process started, one is called process completed. If you get any error, so you can click on this view process, and if you click on this icon, you will be able to read the error here. So you need to read it from the last. Okay, you will be able to identify if it's a date error, so you just need to fix the date. So once this is done, and then we will start doing the explorations, right? So that is the first task. Let's go ahead and see the data now. If you just run this, you will be getting the data. That is one way. The second way is that you can right click on it, click on refresh first of all, and then just right click on it, and if you just see something called view or edit, this options, or you can go to this count rows. This is going to show you the data. You can see we have 2000 records, You can also right click and you can also see something called view edit. So show first 100 rows, you can click on this. This is going to give you the first 100 rows of the data. So it will take some time. You can see we have the 100 rows of data here. Okay, now let's close it and let's run this. This is going to select the data, but I don't want to see all the data, so I'm going to say limit 10. Let's see the 10 rows of the data to understand the data, right? Now if you see the data, we have the transactions ID, we have the sale date, sale amount, customer ID, gender, age, category, quantity, price per unit, COGS, and the total sale. So what is important, we need to identify if the correct data is imported or not. Okay, so I'm going to again write it as like count to see how many records we have. Okay, so I will use a count functions here, count of star. So this is going to give me the total records we have in the data set. So I will just need to delete this limit because I want to count the total number of rows. Okay, then I will verify with Excel. So we have 2000 rows. Now if you go to this Excel and we have 2000 rows, right? You can see 2001 because the first line is the header. So that means the data is imported correctly. If you are getting any issue with the data import, I'm going to include one of my video where I have explained how to fix data import issue. So you can go through that and then you will definitely understand what type of things you should look for while importing the data in PostgreSQL. So this is fine. Next, we want to again see some more explorations. We want to do some explorations in the data to understand the data better. So let's run this and let's see what are the things we have. So we have transactions ID. So we have already got to know that we have 2000 records. We have the sale date, we have sale time, we have customer ID. So maybe we want to see how many customers we have, right? And we have gender. So again, we have two genders, male and female here. We have age, we have category. Maybe we want to see how many categories are there. We have quantity, we have price per unit, we have COGS, which is the purchasing cost, and the total sale amount. Now if you just scroll down few rows, okay, we can go through a few rows. If you can scroll down it here, you can see the data. So you can see this data has some null values. Okay, now this is very common whenever you are working on any real project as well. You may have a lot of null values, so we need to deal with this null values. Now I'm going to show you a smart way of dealing this null values which I use in my project. So I'm going to check first of all, see now we have this 2000 records. We cannot go through all the rows one by one, that will take a really long time. So there is a way to find out if we have any null values in this column, which is called transactions ID. Also in this sale date or in this sale time or customers ID, we can identify if there's any null values. So what you need to do is that you just need to write this, it's called select star from retail sales, and you can simply use a where condition, which is say where, and you can say transactions. Though transactions doesn't have null values because this is a primary key, you can see it here, but I just want to show you. So I would say transactions ID is null. So this means I'm saying, hey, get me everything from this sales informations where this transaction ID is null. If in case we have any data where transaction ID is null, I will be getting those rows. Okay, let's see. Transactions ID. Let's see the spelling. Transactions ID. Maybe it's S. I need to verify it from here. Oops. Let's see the column name. So we have transactions ID. So I mistakenly have entered transactions ID. So I will just write it. And you see we do have all the columns, and we don't have any records where this transactions ID is null. So for now, let's go ahead and see the rest of the column. Let's see if in case we have any null in the sale date. So I can just write it, and I'm going to say here instead of transactions, I will say sale date. Now we need to check for all the columns because some of the column may have the null in some of the rows. Okay, so let's see for the sale date, we don't have any. Now we can also check for the sale time. So sale time. So this also doesn't seem any null values. Now we need to check for all the columns. So there is a way you can just write one code instead of writing multiple code to see. Okay, so what you can say that something like this, which is select everything from the retail sales, and you just need to write simple one where conditions, which is called where, and you can write your this condition, which is called transactions ID is null. So that is the first conditions you want to check, and you can put or conditions. Okay, you want to check if the transaction ID is null, you need all the rows, and then you can see if the sale time is null, you also need all the rows. So either any of the condition is true, you will be getting the rows with the null values. So second, I want to see the sale date. So I will say sale date is null. I will also add which is sale time. So that is going to be my third conditions, and I would need to add basically for all the columns. Okay, so next what I need for gender, so gender is null. Now this trick is very useful whenever you're working with a large data set with multiple columns. So gender is null. Even if you have any of the column has any null records in any of the row, you will be getting that particular row. So gender is null. Now and next I need the category, so I'm going to say or category is null. So make sure to give the correct spelling, otherwise you may get error. So I would say or. Next what column we have, which is called quantity is null. Now I have this cox is null. Next I have this total sale, so total sale is null. I just need to add or conditions in between, so I would say or, okay. So let's understand what is actually happening here. So we are using or, so any of the condition is true, I will get that row. So this SQL that we are selecting everything from this table, so it will follow this step for all the rows. So it will go to the first row, it will check if the transaction ID is null. If not, then it will check the second condition for the first row, if the sale date is null. If not, then it's going to check the third condition for the same row, the row first. Okay, sale time is null, no, and then it is going to check gender, is the gender is null. If the gender is null, then it's going to include that row. It's not going to go through the rest of the columns. Okay, because we are using or. If I use and, so that means all this column has to be null. Now if I use or, only even one column has for one row null, so that row is going to be included. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. Now once we run it, we will see all the null values. So you can see we have 3 null records, which is only for quantity, price, cox and total sales. Okay, so we can either delete it or we can replace the value. So I can see that we don't have any informations for all this column for this rows, so I'm just going to delete it. Now let's see how we can delete this rows. Okay, so we can simply write something called delete from, and delete from this table, which is called retail sales. Now and I can add this logic, which is getting, using this where conditions, getting all this records where this data has null values. Okay, now if you do not mention this where conditions correctly, it's going to delete everything from the table. So I'm just going to run it, and it's going to delete the data. Now I can see 3 records deleted. So let's verify it, how many records we are left with. So we can just run this query, which is called get the count. So you can see we have 1997 records left, and I can run this logic again to see if you have any null value so far. So let's see, we don't have any null records, because you can see this where condition is returning no records. So we have deleted all the rows where we had null. Now let's explore the data, and then we can solve the business problems. So I would mention it as like data exploration. Okay, and we have done data cleaning here, so here I can mention as a data cleaning. Okay, now I can see how many customers we have. First thing, we can check how many sales we have, which we have already checked. We have 2000. So simple, we can write how many sales we have, right? So maybe this is the question business want to see, like how many sales we have or how many records we have. So we can go ahead and say select count of transactions ID or count of star as total sale from retail sales, correct? So let's execute this, and we will have 1997. This is the total number of records we have, right? Next, maybe we want to see how many customers we have, so we can check the data again before solving this one. So maybe we want to see how many customers we have. So I will simply go ahead and use this only, but I'm going to mention how many customers we have. Okay, so this is the basic explorations you are doing on the data. So you can just run it, and you will just need to say from this data set, we want to see the count, but we want to see the count for this customer ID. So you can mention something like customer ID. Now if you run it, you will be getting 1997, because we may have duplicates record here. So maybe one customer has purchased multiple times, so we can use distinct functions here. That's going to give us the unique customers, right? So we can say how many unique customers we have. Okay, So next, maybe I want to see how many categories we have. So I can go ahead and again run this one, and I will just need to mention unique category. Okay, that's going to give us the total number of category we have, which is 3. Even I can see the result. So oops, I will, instead of count, I will just say distinct category. That's going to give us all the category name. Okay, I'm just going to delete this alias. So we can see we have 3 categories, which is here. Now we can see some more problems here, like we can do some more explorations. Let's see. Now we have this age, category, quantity, price, cogs, total sales. So I think this is the main explorations we had to do, and we have already removed the null values. So let's now go ahead and solve some business problems. So main data analysis, which we will do here, data analysis, or you can say even business key problems and answers. Okay, any business owner or the managers, they may want to know this a problem. So I'm just going to copy the question that we will be solving. So let me just copy all the question. So these are the 10 question we'll be solving today. Now you can include more question based on your understanding. So let's see the question number 1. So I'm going to copy it here and just comment it out. So it says write SQL query to retrieve all the columns for the sale made on this specific day, which is 2020 11, which is December, November and 5th November. Okay, so this one we can solve. Let's say the business want to see the sale on done on a specific date. So we can just go ahead and say select and from retail sales, which is our table name, retail sales. So we just need to use a simple where conditions to filter the data for this date, which is 2022 11 and 5, right? So we just need to filter on this column. So I can say where sale date, okay, equals 2022 11 05. Okay, so this is going to get us the sale done on this specific date. Now the business may want to see for other date as well, so they just need to change it here. Right now you can see we have done 11 sales and this is their records. Okay, this was the question number 1, very easy. Let's see the question number 2. So the question number 2 says write a SQL query to retrieve all the transactions where the category is clothing. So first thing, we want to check all the sales where the category is clothing, and then we want to see the quantity sold is more than 10. Okay, so for clothing we want to see the quantity sold more than 10. Okay, and we also want to see the result only for November 2022. So 3 conditions we want to check. One is the data has to be November 2022, so basically the month has to be November and year has to be 2022, and then the category has to be clothing and the quantity sold has to be more than 10. So first we want to see each category and the quantity sold. Okay, so I'm just going to select the category because I need to do a group by here by the category, because by each category I want to see the total quantity sold, correct? So I can do a sum on this quantity sold. I need to do a group by this category. So I'm going to say select category and sum on this quantity, which is this quantity sold, quantity, okay, from retail sales. Okay, now again that depends how you want to see it. You can even without doing group by you can solve the same question, but let me show you. So I'm saying category sum on this quantity, and here I can use where conditions where I can say this category equals clothing. So I just need to make sure the clothing has the same spelling. So C capital clothing. This is how I'll be getting the category clothing and the total sum of quantity, but I need to do a group by the category. Okay, so I will say group by 1, which means the category. Okay, if I just run this query, I will have the category which is clothing and the quantity sold, which is 1785. The second thing, we want to see only the quantity sold which is more than 10, and also we need to ensure the month is this November, right? November 2022. So we can go ahead and say here, and now I just need to compare the month. So let's go ahead and say this one, which is called toChar. So I'm just going to use the toChar functions to compare with the month. Okay, so I'm going to say toChar sale date. Okay, I think sale date is the column name. Let's just verify it. So it's the sale date column. So I would say to care sale date, and I would just want to convert it into text like this, YY and MM, and I would just compare it something like this, which is 2022 and 11. Okay, so this is going to select the data for 2022 11. Now I can show you the result. Okay, I can simply go ahead and say select a star from this retail sales, where the category is clothing, and the month is kind of November. Okay, let's see. So you can see we have the data where we have this all this sale informations, and we have the data only for November. You can see, right, the month is November. So now we want to see the quantity. So let's read the question again. Okay, write the SQL query to retrieve all the transactions where the category is clothing and the quantity sold is more than 10. So we don't have to do a group by here. I was wrong. So I don't have to do a group by, because we want to see all the informations, which is like transactions, sale date, sale time. We can do using group by, but here even without doing group by we can solve it. Okay, so I'm just going to say we have selected all the transactions where the category is clothing and the month is November. Next we just need to filter this, which is called sold more than 10, right? More than 10 in the month of November. So we need to see if we have any sale which is quantity more than 10. I think we don't have any, but we don't have any, right, any transactions which is quantity more than 10. So let me maybe change it to maybe more than kind of 4. Any sale where we have the quantity sold more than 4. Okay, because we don't have the data which is more than 10. So I'm just going to say here one more conditions I want to check, and that is quantity greater than equals to 4. Okay, so maybe we don't have more than 4 as well, but we have at least 4. So let's run it now. Now I can see that we have all the transactions where the quantity is equals to 4 or more than 4. So we have total 17 sale that we have done in the month of November, where the category is clothing and the quantity sale is more than 4 or equals to 4. So this was the question number 2. Let's see the question number 3 now. So let's kind of solve the question number 3. Now before solving the rest of the question, I would really request you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also like the video. You can also share your approach for all this question in the comment box. So let's say Q3, which is write a SQL query to calculate the total sales. So I'm just going to solve this one. So write a SQL query to calculate the total sales for each category. So now we need to find out each category and their total sales, right? So I can just go ahead and say select everything from the data which we have already here. Okay, now a retail sales. Okay, so we have the data, so we need to do a group by this, and then we can do a sum on this total sale to see each category and their total sale, because now we want to find out each category and their sale, not all the transactions. Okay, so we say category, and I can say it here sum of total sale. Okay, I'm going to save it as like net sale. Okay, I just need to do a group by the first column, which is called category. So I can say group by 1. If you're using MySQL, you need to say group by the category name. Now I can see each category and their total sale. If I need total orders, so I can just add one more line, which is called count of star, and save it as like total orders for each category. Correct? So let's kind of run it and let's see. So I will just need to say category. Okay, I just need to select the whole query. Now I can see each category we have the total sale, net sale, and the total orders that we have done for each category. Okay, so the question number 4 says write a SQL query to find the average age of customers who purchase item from the beauty category. So we need to find out the average age of the customers who purchase from this category. Okay, so we can simply use the where conditions here. Okay, and average functions, which is called avg. So you can say select average, and first select the age, and from retail sales. Okay, so this is going to give us all the ages, but we only need the ages only if they have purchased from beauty category. Correct? So I would go ahead and use the where conditions here, where category equals beauty. Okay, now if you want to see that, verify the data, you can just say select a star. That's going to show you all the columns, and you can see that we only have the data where this category is beauty. Okay, you can verify it. Now we just need to do average functions on this to see the average age of the customer. So you can say average and on age. Okay, so this is going to give us the average age for the customer who has purchased from this beauty category, and I can just save it called as average age. Okay, now you can see the number is too big, so this is not a readable friendly, so I can just use a round functions to convert it. Okay, so I can say round and I can say 2, so this is going to convert the result into 2. Okay, let's see. So you can see now this seems much better. So this is the average age of the customer who purchased from the beauty category. Now before solving question number 5, I would request you to watch the video till the end, because at the end of this video I'm going to show you how you can publish this project in your GitHub. So I'm going to show you step by step how I will be showing each of your query that you will be solving. Now you may have different question as well. You may solve different questions, so you will be kind of including this code like this, okay, in your GitHub. So let's go ahead and solve the question number 5 now. So it says write SQL query to find all transactions where the total sale is greater than 1000. Okay, so it's again simple where conditions. So we can say select everything from retail sales where this total sale is greater than 1000. Correct, total sale. So I can say that first select the table. Okay, now if you see the data, now before solving any question I would request you to go through the data, right? Then you can build your logic. Now you can see here we have this total sale column, so we need only the transactions where this transaction amount is more than 1000. So you just need to read the question 2 or 3 times to understand it better. So I can say where and the total sale greater than 1000. So this is going to select you all the sale where you have the sale amount which is more than 10,000. You can call it high ticket, right? So we have 306 records, which is kind of really good, right? Okay, so that was the question number 5. Let's see the question number 6. Write a SQL query to find the total number of transactions made by each gender in each category. Okay, so we need to find out inside each category, each gender, and the number of transactions. That means number of orders. Okay, so here I need to first do a group by the category, and then I need to do a group by the gender, because I want to see each gender and the number of transactions. So I can go ahead and say here select category, select gender. Now this order is very important because we want to see inside each category, we want to see each gender and their number of transactions. So I will say not sum but count of star, which is going to be as total transactions from retail sale. As I have 2 categorical column, because I want to first do a group by the category, then I want to do a group by the gender, then only I want to see the total transactions. So I will need to say group by these 2 column. Okay, or I can say 1 or 2. Okay, so this is going to do a group by both the columns. Okay, now let's run it and we will have the answer. Retail sales doesn't exist, so there's a typo, it's sales. Let's run it again. Now I can see we have each category, which is clothing, and inside the clothing we have 2. One is female, so 347 sale for female. Let's see clothing male 354. Same we have electronics male, and we have again electronics female. I can just do an order by here to organize the data. So I can say order by 1, and that is how the data is going to be organized by the category name. So now it's much better. So you can see both the beauty category is coming together, which is beauty female or beauty male. Similarly for clothing and for the electronics. Okay. So the question number 7 says write a SQL query to calculate the average sale for each month. Find out the best selling month in each year. So we need to solve it here. So I'm going to again see the data. Then we can build the logic here. Okay. So it says retail sales. Okay. Let's see it. So we have the data here, we have the sales information. So what I need to find out, let's read it again. So it says write a SQL query to calculate the average sale for each month. Okay, so we need to find out the average sale for each month. Find the best selling month in each year. So what we need to do is that we need to find out average sale for each month inside each year. Okay, and best selling month in each year. So at the end we need to return in each year one month that has the highest average sale. Okay, So let's see. First I need to do a group by here, which is called year. Okay, then I need to do a group by the month, which is inside the year. Okay, then what I need to do is that sum on this column, which is called total sale, correct? So total. Okay, now you may be wondering how we are going to get this year and month, as we do not have any column with this year or month column, right? So we can use extract functions here to get the year and to get the month. Okay, so here to get the year, what you can do is that you can use extract function like something like this. So extract year from this column. We can use this column, which is called sale date column. From this column we can extract the year. Okay, so you just need to write something called extract year from, and the column name is sale date, and I can save it as like as year. Now if you're using MySQL, you just need to write something like this. Okay, year and sale date. So this line you just need to write, that is going to bring the year from this column. Okay, and that is for MySQL. For Postgres you need to write this way. So that was year. Let's get the month. So again I'm going to use the same, which is here, but instead of year I would extract month here. So I would say month. I just make it same month from this sale date, and I'm going to save it called month. I don't need this, so I'm going to delete it. So now I have the year, I have the month, and I have the sum, which is going to be my as total sale. So then I just need to do a group by, because I'm going to say group by 1 and 2. So that is how I will see each year and each month and their total sale. I need the average sale, not the total sale. I'm just going to say as average sale. Okay, for each month inside each year. So first group by I'm going to do the year. So let's see. Now let's do a order by here to kind of make it more readable. So I'm going to say order by 1 and then 2. Okay, so let's see. Now you see we have the data which is ordering by the year, which is ascending. So first we have the small year, which is 2022, then I will have the year, which is 2023. So in 2022 we have 12 month. You can see it here. Month 1, this is the sale. Month 2, this is the sale. Month 3, this is the sale. So now what I need is basically from each year one month that has the highest average selling, correct? You can see it here. Now if you want to find out, you can do an order by here called 3 descending. Okay, now that is how your data is going to be sorted. So let's see. So now we have here, we have this year, which is 2020, and all this 12 month and their sale, but you can see this column we want in descending. So let's kind of verify it. Okay, now I just don't have to do this ordering by the month, and I can say first order by the year, then this sale amount in descending. Okay, so let's see now. Now I can see in 2020 the month that has the highest selling coming first, which is this one, 2022, and the month is which is 7, that is July, and that has the 541 average sale, which is the highest. Okay, rest all the month you can see 521, 486, 489, because I have done an order by this in ascending and by this column in descending, so the largest sale come first. Okay, similarly we have 2023, and the month that has the highest selling, which is highest average selling, that is coming first. So that means we need this month and we need this month, right? These two records we need, because these are the month where we have the highest average sale. So what I can do, I can use a window functions called rank here to kind of get this month from this year, and also from this year this month, right? Even I have more years, so from each year I need the first record, correct? So I can say here, which is called, oops, not here, maybe after this column I'm going to add a window functions called rank. So I will say rank over, and I will need to do a partition by year, because inside each year I want to find out the best selling month. So here I can use this line, I cannot use the alias here, so I'm going to say partition by extract year from the sale date, and I need to do an order by only this 3 descending. So that is going to be order by this average. Again, cannot use alias inside window functions, so I would say order by this average in descending. Okay, now I don't have to do this order by outside, so I'm just going to delete it for now. Let's see. Now it's going to create a new column that's going to give the ranking. You can see from 2022 the record that has the highest sale is getting rank 1, and in 2023 the record has again the highest ever sale is getting rank 1. So each year the month that has the highest average sale will get the rank 1. Now we can simply filter by saying that select everything where the rank is 1, right? That's how we get the month with the highest selling. So I'm just going to call it rank. Now I'm just going to get the data from this, but I cannot use the where conditions on this table because these are the column that we have created, right? So I need to save this data in a subquery, or I need to save this data in a CTE. So I'm going to say something like simple select everything from this below table. So below table I'm going to save it inside this square, inside this parenthesis like this, and I can name it called T1, and I can say where this rank. Now this table T1 table has a column called rank. Okay, so I would say where this rank equals 1. Now I will just move it to 1 indentations to the right, so to make it more readable. Okay, so if I just run it now you can see it here. I have the 2 month which has the highest average selling. Okay, so this function is selecting everything from this table because this query is creating a table called T1. From this table I am selecting all the column, and then I'm saying rank equals 1. Now if you don't want to show this rank, you can just ignore it. So you can simply you can simply go ahead and select the column that you need. Now the column that I need from this T2 table, which is called year, and I need next which is called month. Okay, next I need AVG sale. So these are the 3 columns I need, right? So let's run it. Okay, oops, I have not selected this where functions. Let's select it again. Now I can see I'm getting from each year the month that has the highest average sale. Now this is the question I have seen most of the time. It has been asked in the interview, so you can just solve this question. Very simple approach I have used here. Okay, so now let's solve remaining 3 questions. So I'm going to solve the question number 8 now. So we have the question which is write SQL query to find the top 5 customers based on the highest total sale. So we can go ahead and say here query to find out the top 5 customer based on the highest total sale. So you just need to find out the customer and their total sale, then we can select the top 5, right? So let's see the data first. So select everything from retail sales. Let's see the data, then we can see how to build the logic here. Okay, so before jumping into solutions, I would always request you to go through the data types, ask multiple questions to the interviewer, then you can try to solve it, right? That is how you will be able to build strong logic to solve the same question in different approach. So I would say select everything from the retail sales, and I need to find out the top 5 customers based on the total highest sale. So you can see I don't have any customer name, but I have the customer ID, and I can see the same customer has purchased multiple times. That is possible because we have 150 customers. So that means I need to do a group by the customer's ID, and then I need to do a total sale on this column, which is sum on this column basically. So I'm going to say here customer ID, that's the first column because I'm going to do a group by the customer's ID, and I'm going to say sum, and sum on this column which is called total sale, and I'm going to save it as total sales. Okay, and I will say group by 1 which is by customer's ID, so that I will have each customers and their total sale. Let's see. So we have each customers and their total sale. Now I can just order by 2, which is the second column in descending, because I want to see the data in descending orders by the sales amount. So this is the customer's ID 3 that has the highest purchasing so far, which is 38,000. This is the second, which is highest purchasing, that is 30,000. This is highest purchasing, that is 30,405. And so we need this 5, right? These are the 5 records we need. So I can use a limit functions here. So limit 5. That is how I'm going to get the top 5 customers with the highest sale amount. Okay, so this was the question number 8. Let's see the question number 9. Now for the question number 9, I can just put it here. So write a SQL query to find the number of unique customers who purchase item from each category. Okay, now we need to find out each category and how many customer purchase from each category, right? So unique customers. So again, we will be using the same logic here, but it's going to be a little different. Okay, so I'm going to select like the customer's ID, and I would select the category. Okay, these are the 2 columns we need, and I'm going to delete this group by for now. Let's see this 2 column. Okay, so we can see we have this category and the customer ID. We have total 1997 transactions, right? So now I can do a group by this category. So I can go ahead and say group by, which is by the first column, which is category. That's going to be grouped by category, and I can do a count here. Okay, count of this column. So that's going to count like each category and how many total customers we have. Okay, but that's not going to ensure this unique customers. Okay, now you can see we have altogether we have 1997 records. Okay, but if you want to see the unique customers count inside each category, so we can use a distinct function here. So it's called distinct, and that is going to only count the distinct customer in each category. Now you can see in first category, which is beauty, we have 141 customer who has purchased. In this we have 149, in this we have 144. Okay, so that is how we have got the distinct customers. So distinct, or we can say unique customers. Okay, count of unique customer. Okay, so this was the question number 9. Let's solve the last question, which is going to be question number 10, and then I'm going to show you how you can publish this project in your GitHub. So let's go ahead and say this one, which is called question number 10. Okay, it says write a SQL query to create each shift and number of orders. Example, morning, which is less than equals to 12 o'clock, afternoon, which is between 12 and 17 o'clock, and evening, which is greater than 17 o'clock. So we need to create different shift based on the time, and then we need to see in each shift what is the total number of orders we have received, or what is the total sale we have done. Okay, now let's see the data. I don't think we have anything called the shift so far, but we'll see how to create it. Okay, now this is again very important concept, because we'll be using customer segmentations here. So we don't have anything called morning, afternoon, or evening. So but based on this time we can create a shift, right, which is based on this logic. So this is where we can use case statement in SQL. So I can go ahead and say select everything, and I want to use this column, which is this sale time, because based on the time I can create a shift. Okay, now I'm going to say case. So the logic is very simple. You say when, then. Okay, you can say again when, then, and you just need to put else logic. You need to say end. Okay, now very simple. You just need, it's going to create a new column, so I can just name it called shift. Okay, or you can name it anything. Now we just need to put our logic here. Okay, so when inside this, between this when and then, I need to put my logic. So my logic is based on this time. Okay, so what is this logic? I want to call it morning if the purchase, if the transaction, if this transaction is time, which is hour, is less than equal to 12 o'clock. Now we don't have again our column here, right? But using this sale time, we can create the hour column here. So what you can say is here extract hour from this column, which is called sale time. Okay, sale time. Okay, so this is going to get you the hour from the sale time. Now if you want to see these functions, I can just show you outside. So if I say select extract hour from current time, this is going to give us the hour from the current time from my system, which is 15 o'clock, that is 3 p.m. You can see it here, right? So we are using same logic. We're saying extract hour from this sale time. Now we'll be getting the hour, so we need to ensure that hour is less than equal to 12, right? If it's less than equal to 12, that means we want to call it 12, right? Or maybe we can call it less than 12. Okay, not less than equals, but we can say less than 12. Make it the clear logic. So we would say less than equal to 12, because this is going to get us the hour from this sale time for that record, and we want to see if it's less than 12, then I want to call it morning. Okay, so this is the simple logic I have used. Now the second, I want to see the hours between 12 and 17, which is including 17 o'clock, which is including 5 o'clock, and including 12 o'clock, because in this first logic 12 is not included, right? So I can go ahead and check it here like this. Okay, so I can say between and. Okay, now I'll need to put when extract hour, okay, from this sale date, and I will just remove this logic here. I'm going to say between what, then I would say that 12 and 17. Now you need to know this between logic that I'm using, that is ensuring that this 12 is also included in this logic, and this 17 o'clock is also included. Now I can call it afternoon. Okay, so that means if the hour that we got from the transactions a sale time, if that is between this 12 and 17, which means even if it is 12 or even if it is 17, which is 5 o'clock, that is going to call it afternoon. Okay, now whatever is left any other transaction, that is going to call automatically evening. Okay, so we just need to call it else evening. Okay, now let's see if this logic is working fine. So I'm just going to run it. So that's going to create a new column. Now we can verify it. So you can see morning. Let's see the time. So the time is which is 10 o'clock. You can see 10:47. So that is calling morning. Perfectly fine. Let's see something else, which is maybe afternoon. I want to check some record for afternoon. Okay, let's see for the evening. Let's see these records. Okay, you see 22 o'clock, which is 10 p.m. 10:18. So that is categorized as evening. We can check something for afternoon as well. You can see it here, this one. Okay, so this one we have afternoon, and let's see the time. So time is what is it? Yeah, time is 17:12. Now you can see it's a 5 p.m. and 12, right? So still the time is calling afternoon, which is correct, right? It's categorizing correctly. Okay, now what you need to do is that based on each this shift, we want to see the number of orders we have got, right? Now again, as we have created using this case statement, so I cannot do a group by this here in this query. That's going to be like a little bit complicated. So I'm going to save this in a CTE. Now CTE calls common table expressions. So from the CTE, then I can do a group by this shift, and I can do a count on the total transactions or maybe any other column. That is how I will be getting each hour and their total kind of the orders we have received. Okay, so very simple. You just need to say with, and you can give any name. So I'm going to call it hourly sales. Okay, and I would say S, and I just need to put this parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis I can put this logic, and I would say okay, here I have a table. By this here I have a table called hourly sales. Okay, so I'm going to say select everything from this table which is called hourly sales, and I can show you that I will have the same result. Okay, so you can see I have the same result. Now I can use this column to do a group by. Okay, so I can go ahead and say group by which column, which is this column, shift column. So the column name is shift, and I can say here count of transactions ID. Okay, by this column which is called transactions ID, or I can use a star. Okay, both will work fine, and I can call it as total orders. Okay, now I want to see the shift as well, so I would say shift, because I want to see each shift and the total orders, correct? So very simple here. I can just go ahead and run it. Very simple logic we have used here. Okay, now I am saying I missed a comma here. Let's run it again. Let's comment it out. Now I can see we have each hour and their total number of orders we have received. So this is how we can solve this type of question. Now you can include some more question by yourself. Just go through the data and see what type of logic you can build and what type of question you can solve, and then you can include all the question. Okay, so I would say end of project. Okay, let's save this, and I'm just going to save it in the desktop only. So I would say SQL query. Okay, P1 project 1 SQL query. Now I'll just save it. Now let's see how to publish the project in GitHub. So let's go to GitHub. So we want to publish the project the same way like this. Okay, so let's first create a repository. So I'm just going to go ahead, click my profile, maybe here, or maybe you can click anywhere. So you just need to go to repository, and you can click new folders. So you can name the folder called SQL retail sales, right? You can give any name based on you. So I'm just going to say retail sales P1. Okay, now just make sure this is set as a public, and this readme file is enabled. Okay, so you can just click on this add a readme file. So just click on this create repository. Okay, now once you click on this, your repository is going to be created. Now next, what you just need to do is import their code. So I'm going to say upload, and I'm going to, from the desktop, I'm going to upload this SQL query, because the recruiter may want to see this query. So I would say upload. I also want to upload the dataset, so I have it here. I'm going to upload the dataset, and I'm also going to kind of upload the readme. Okay, so let's see. And this readme is what we have downloaded from my GitHub earlier. Okay, so let's upload it now. So we have the data here. Let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, now you see this readme has kind of already created this nice formatting, which is the documentations of the project. Now you can just edit this documentation by yourself. Okay, so if you have done any other step, you can mention it here. Okay, now what you just need to do, click on edit, because you need to change this code. Okay, so let's go ahead and kind of change this code. Okay, so this create table remains same, it doesn't change, but if in case you want to change it, you can change it. Okay, well, you just need to remember one thing is that if you want to include your code, you just need to write like this way, which is this 3 apostrophe, then you write SQL, and then you can copy paste your SQL queries, and then you just need to close it same using 3 apostrophe. Okay, so then it is going to create a screenshot of the code, and that is going to include it in your readme in a nice way. Okay, now what you just need to do is that you can rechange this question, that the question that you have done or task that you have done. So let's say we can change this question, which is retrieve sales made on a specific date. This one remains same. We can change this question number 2. So if you just put it like this double star, that means it's in the bold. Okay, so let's go ahead and kind of see this, the first question that we have solved. Okay, so the first question we have solved, which is this one. Okay, so I can just replace it. So this question remains same. I can just put the right question here, and I just need to include this query. So I will just go ahead and kind of put my query here. Okay, this is the question number 1. Oops, so I will just change this question number 1. Okay, so let's say it here from to here to here, and I will just put the question number here. We just make sure this double star that you have, which is touching this word. Okay, now I can include my answer here. Okay, so oops, I can put it here. I need to replace with this one. This is the question number 1, so I'm just going to put it here. Now all your code must be between this kind of this line and this line, correct? So I will just put my query here. So my query was this. Okay, let's click it here and put it here. Okay, so this is my line of code. Now I just need to make sure they are properly formatted, so you cannot add any space between this this 3 apostrophe. So this is my question number 1. Now I will just kind of move it to here. Okay, now let's see if this is working. Okay, it's going to be question number 2. We will just put the question number 2 here. Okay, you don't need the question number because the number is by default coming, you can see it here. So I will need to put it here. Okay, question number 2, and I can put my query, which is start from here and till here. Okay, so let's kind of delete this one, put it here. Okay, now just make sure this is the starting. See, it is a grayed out, so that means it is perfectly working fine. Okay, so this is how you can add rest of the question, and just make sure that you have formatted properly, and any extra space you can delete it. Okay, now I'm just going to add one question, which is the last question. Maybe let me just add question number 3 as well. So the question number 3, I want it here. Okay, and I can add my code here, which is going to be something like this. Question number 3 answer, that's this. Okay, now let's just move it. That was question number 3. Let's do for question number 4. Let's do for question number 4, which is here. I want to edit here, question number 4. Let's copy the code, which is here to here. Now question number 4, I just want to edit here. Just make sure they are in the same line. Okay, perfect. Oops. Now I just need to reorganize. I think this one I want the first, because I want it to look perfectly the same way I have. Okay, so this is fine. This one also I want to organize, so I would just delete this space, and this one as well. You can just press Ctrl Shift, that's going to delete the indentations. Now we can just move it like this way. Okay, so question number 3 and 4 done. Let's do it for 5. So for 5, I'm going to kind of put it from here to here. So question number 5, let's put it here. Okay, and I want the answer for question number 5. Let's go ahead and kind of put it here. So question number 5, very simple, one line code. We have it here. Okay, we don't want to keep any extra space, so I'm just going to kind of delete all the space and just want to delete all the indentations. Okay, this is a one line code, so looks fine. Now let's question number 6. So for question number 6, this is the question. So you need to add all the question and then you just need to click on save. Okay, so let's say question number 6, and this was 4, so this is going to be kind of 6, right? Now let's copy the question number 6 answer, so that's going to be from here to here. Now let's go ahead and kind of, first of all, make sure these are having proper indentations. Let's put it here. Let's delete this extra space that we have it here. Okay, so question number 7, let's copy from here to here, and that's going to be this one, question number 7. Make sure that your question is inside this double star, and first let's delete this indentations, and I'm just going to kind of put my code here, which is for question number 7. So I will just change this number to 7. Let's copy the question number 7 answer, so from here to here, and we'll put it here. Okay, so this seems properly formatted. Let's delete this extra space. Let's do for question number 8. So question number 8, let's get the question, which is from here to here. Let's put it inside this double star, and let's delete this extra indentations. So Control Shift or Command Shift for Mac, and I'm going to put the answer in this middle. Okay, so that's going to be my answer. Now the reason why we are doing it, because most of the time the recruiter will not visit the code that you have added. Okay, so you can just show it in the readme page. So question number 8, let's see question number 9. So that's this one, and I want to add it inside this double star, delete this extra indentations, put my code, which is my answer, in the middle here. Okay, so let's get the question number 9 code and let's put it here. Let's delete this extra space. So question number 9 is done. Let's change the name to 9, which is 8 7 8 9, and let's change it to 10. Okay, so now you can add more questions, just copy paste it, and you can include your questions whatever you want. Okay, so let's include the question from here to here, and let's include the answer of this question number 10. Okay, so we can simply go ahead and kind of delete this indentations, Command Shift, and replace with my answer. Okay, so this is kind of perfect. Now you can change this, your finding, reports, conclusions, how to use it. Okay, you can change this author as well from my name to your name. Okay, now you can also delete it. You can include your LinkedIn profile or any other profile you want to include. You can also include your email address here. Now let's go ahead and save it, and let's see if you have not done any mistake. This should work completely fine. Let's wait and see. Okay, so you can see the table structure seems to be added correctly. You can also see this data cleaning and explorations also added correctly. You can also see the stars too. Question number 1 added correctly, question number 2 added correctly, question number 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, so all these questions are added correctly. Now, so this is how you can publish your project. You can change your findings. You can put your findings here, you can put your reporting here, and you can write your conclusion here. Okay, so these are the basic informations which you can put in the project. All right, so next what you need to do is that you need to make sure that your data set is uploaded. So I have uploaded the data set, I have uploaded the readme, I have uploaded the query. If somebody want to go through the query, you can just click on it and they will be able to see like entire projects, how you have done it. Okay, how you have cleaned the data, what is the step-by-step approach you have followed. They can also go through the data set as well, which you can include here, because this is the raw data, so they will be able to understand like how the data was and how you have cleaned the data. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching the video till the end. If you really like this type of content, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now if you have any other question, any other approach to solve this question, you can write down in the comment box. Have a good day. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.